Hello, Matthew Williams here with a very quick video to talk to you about Charlie Chinhead. Mr. Chinhead has been quite vocal on his own self-published website, talking about circle hoaxers, he calls them, giving photos to the crop circle connector. I think he's referring to me, and if he is, then goodness, his information is 15 years out of date, as we keep reminding him, but it doesn't seem to sink in. He's at least 15 years out of date, because I stopped making crop circles back in 2000 after I was arrested, and I stopped making them. And after that, I got my pilot's license for microlights, and I was flying around in my microlight taking photos of crop circles, because that was my new hobby, since I was no longer a circle maker anymore. Or hoaxer, as Charlie, insists on using that term. One is only you don't have to look or scratch beneath the surface very far to see the complete bias and hypocrisy of said article, because I'll read it to you now. He says, I find it interesting when images of new crop patterns are taken by convicted crop circle hoaxers. Well, you shouldn't find it that interesting, because, like I say, 15 years we've been sending our photos through to the crop circle connector, and they've been using them quite happily, and you've known about this for that time. So, I mean, I don't understand what the big mystery is here, apart from maybe jealousy. It says, just in time for them to get the exclusive and then change the copyright to ccc.com, rather than the hoaxers who shot the images. Well, this has been a long-standing agreement that I've had with the CCC, because some people don't like to see my name against these photos. So therefore, they would put in complaints to the crop circle connector, and they were complaining, saying, oh, why are you having Matthew Williams's photos and this sort of stuff up there? So to keep, people from arguing about it, we changed the name to CCC. So there's no big mystery to it, but everybody who knows where the photos are coming from, they're coming from myself, and also they're coming from Mr. Gyro, and anyone who wants to send them in can send them in. But I mean, there's no big mystery to this. But I mean, I'm just sensing a lot of anger, angst and jealousy here, from somebody that actually doesn't have any means of aerial photography, and doesn't own a quadcopter, doesn't go flying in microlights, and has a very limited supply of photos for his own website. He's just attacking people, that have been established longer than anyone else. The Crop Circle Connector is the oldest website on the internet, and in fact it even used to put his material up there. It used to put his articles up there, up until the point he started attacking the Crop Circle Connector for various and sundry things, because this is what Charlie does. He seems, incapable of not attacking, the people around him, the people closest to him, that are possibly people who could even help him and have been his friends, but no, he's got to attack them, because this is what he's done. Ever since he's come into this subject of crop circles, Charlie Chinhead has basically attacked the Circlemakers. And the Circlemakers are the people who are making the crop circles, so therefore he's attacking the people who are giving him the very lifeblood of what he then runs a shop trying to sell. So in his shop he would attack the Circlemakers, he would attack the barge in, and he would attack, various and sundry. So, basically alienating himself from a lot of these places, meaning that he couldn't go in the barge in, that he didn't want to have anything to do with him. He was telling people it was a horrible place to go. But then, when there's an opportunity for him to make some money, he ends up going to the barge in and opening his shop there and making money. And then he's not allowed back for year 2, so one then thinks, oh well, he must be smarting about that, because he's not allowed back there for another year, for a second year. So now he's smarting by attacking the Circlemakers again, and now no circles are real. There are no real circles out there. Everything in Wiltshire is crap. So basically, what does this look like to you? Does this looks like somebody who, he's having a pop at people he is jealous of, because he's not a circle maker. And Circlemakers don't like him because of the things he's saying, so they don't give him tip-offs as to where the circles are, so he doesn't get any new information for his website, so he starts attacking the places that are getting the information, which are places he used to do stuff with, until he started attacking them. So, you know, this is the general situation with him, is he attacks those people closest to him and alienates himself from them. Now, the only crop circles that he says are real at the moment are the ones in Holland. And isn't that interesting? Because he says that, you know, people are hoaxers, and yet Robert van der Broek, the guy in Holland who's hoaxing these crop circles, yeah, and I mean, never a more clear case of, he knows where they are before anyone else, which is what he accuses me and Crop Circle Connector of doing. Now, Robert knows where they are before anyone else because Robert psychically can tell where they're going to appear, yeah, and then he goes and photographs them before anyone else. And isn't that exactly what he's saying is going on with hoaxers? Charlie Chinhead says hoaxers are getting to go to crop circles before anyone else and taking the photos and putting them up on a website. Well, hang on a minute. Isn't that what Robert van der Broek is doing? And he is clearly a hoaxer, a very, very sad hoaxer, you know, putting pictures up of dead people saying that he's in contact with dead people and stuff like this, you know. I mean, it's, that is very, very sad. But the reason Charlie Chinhead is bigging that up is because he realises that he has basically shit on everyone in the United Kingdom. There is nobody who likes him anymore in the United Kingdom, right? Nobody wants to know him. Nobody wants to bother with him. Apparently, he's had a very bad summer this year in his shop because that's all he's got to say is all the circles are crap. They're crap. They're crap. Don't go and see them. They're crap. They're man-made. Yeah, and no, people don't really want to come and, you know, spend time in his shop now because of his negative attitude, yeah? And so he's got so angry, you know, he's bigging up the ones in the Netherlands because just like with the barge in, you know, he sees a possibility. Oh, maybe I can get in there. Maybe I can get in there with the Netherlands people and I can make some money. And I can get a wedge in the door and I can say, oh, yes, I really like these, and then I'll get money and they'll have me over there. And, you know, it's like, well, do you know what? Fuck off over there, as far as I'm concerned. Go on, fuck off to the Netherlands, because you've burnt your bridges in the UK. You know, you've totally burnt your fucking bridges. You know, nobody gives you tip-offs, nobody gives you information, nobody gives you anything anymore, right? Because of the type of fucking stabbing that you do. Yeah, that's the problem. And, you know, he's very selective with his information because he says, oh, yes, you know, this year there's some circle makers getting to these formations before anybody else. And it's like, hang on a minute, why didn't you talk about Steve Alexander then? There's the big elephant in the fucking room is Steve Alexander. Steve Alexander of Temporary Temples Press has been getting to, you know, 5 or 6 formations this year before anyone else because he's working with the Circlemaker and he's paying the Circlemaker, which is something that's never happened before. Now, surely, yeah, that would kick up a real fucking fuss for somebody like Charlie who likes to fucking, like, attack these things on his website. But you know what? Ooh, there's absolutely no mention whatsoever, not a fucking jot of information mentioning that Steve Alexander has got there before anyone else this year. And Steve Alexander is a circle maker, right? He's made circles, yeah? So there's a circle hoaxer, right? Getting to formations before anybody else, yeah? And why? Because he's paying other circle makers, he's paying other hoaxers to give him the information, yeah? And work with them. So he's commissioning this work, yeah? And Charlie Chinhead doesn't mention any of this on his fucking website. Why is that? Why is he avoiding it? This is the question you need to ask of Charlie Chinhead right now, is why is he writing about one set of people and going ding, 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 and he's avoiding the fucking big elephant in the room, right? The big fucking elephant in the room, which is that Steve Alexander has been paying circle makers this year to make formations, and he's not only been doing that, he's got there before anybody else, and he's been sitting on the photography for 5 days before he's released it. So nobody's known where these formations are. No, we've known that he's gone out and photographed them. We know that. We know for certain he's gone out and photographed them, but he's sat on the information for 5 days, not releasing it, yeah? Now, why is that going on this year, right? Why does Steve even feel a need to do that? But more interestingly, why would somebody like Charlie, who seems to be like, you know, vanguard of truth and information and yeah, why would he not put a fucking single word or sentence on his website telling you about that? Yeah, that's what people should be asking. Why does Charlie avoid that information? Yes, So thanks very much for watching.